Hey everybody, my name is Andrew Davis and you're watching Conversations in Pop Culture. And yes, I am hard to kill. And before I introduce my guest, I do want to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Pocket Jack Comics, who have books like Palace of the Golden Princess and White Lily. And you can find their books at pocketjackcomics.com or in the description down below. But enough about that, because I have with me cosplayer, photographer, Matthew Paraday. I think is how you say your name, hopefully.
Paraday. You're close.
I try. Also known as Eye Candy X3, and you got a lot going on. Obviously, you're shooting a lot of cosplayers, you're doing a lot of shoots, as well as you do have a Kickstarter going on. But before we get to all that, why don't you introduce who you are? Because there's people who know you, there's people who don't know you, and I kind of want to just get everybody on the same level before we dive into some of the fun stuff you're doing.
Okay. First off, my name is obviously Matthew Paraday. I'm best known as Paraday Photo. Paraday Photo. I'm actually a fitness photographer, so that's kind of where I started. I deal with a lot of the IFBB fitness bikini competitors. So I work with a lot of women athletes. I kind of expanded that into Eye Candy, which is my other brand. I just find it's better for business, especially when it comes to IG and things like that, to separate my brands, because obviously everybody has what they like. They want to interact with things that they like, and their interests. So obviously when it comes to women in photography, dealing with the fitness side and dealing with some of the higher level athletes, these girls are shredded, 12-pack, shoulders, whatever, like absolutely insane. Some guys don't like that. Some guys are like, oh, that's manly and blah, 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 blah. And then on the other side, when I shoot just like, OF models and glam girls and things like that, some guys are like, oh, that's just not my style. I like my girl to be a little more athletic. So if I put them on the same page, when I post one, then the people who don't like that stop following me. And then I'll post another one. And now the people that don't like that stop following me. And so if I keep going back and forth, I end up just losing followers versus splitting it. And then by doing it that way, the people who like fitness. The people that like, the pretty girls and all that kind of stuff, they like that. They live on the curvier side, and it just works. And then the X3, which is what we're going to talk about today, is just my offshoot where I took, the cosplay stuff, and we're doing a couple things. We're doing some covers and some one-on-one cards as well. But the big Kickstarter, obviously is the X3, the Eye Candy X3 cards.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into that, but I do want to touch upon one little point that I think you brought up that was fascinating about separating your brands. And I get that. Obviously, there are people in the adult world who have different components and different brands. And for me, I don't want to separate my brand. I'm the whole package, and I do everything and anything I want to touch. I've done everything from business development to legitly like adult entertainers, and then everything in between, including crypto. Yes, I'm a crypto guy, but I find that fascinating. That you separate them, because I find it interesting, but I get why it makes sense, but I think that's so interesting to do that.
Well, it also not only does it make sense on obviously just the outside, but it also helps with my clients as well. Sometimes there are things that people like and what they don't like. I have Miss Olympia, Maureen Velasco on my page, who she won Miss Olympia 2 years ago. Absolutely phenomenal stunner. And then I have like, Cheyenne she's from Arizona, big OnlyFans girl, absolutely gorgeous. But sometimes, Miss Olympia doesn't want to be associated with, an OnlyFans girl or a Sarah Sinclair who's a porn star, or like that. They don't want their brands mixing. So by me separating, it usually helps them, on that aspect, as well as just credibility. The thing about it is that when big fitness people go to my fitness page, they see the big fitness people I work with. It gives me credibility in the fitness industry, where like, oh, this guy works with all the big name fitness girls. He must be good. I want to book him. And then same goes on the glam side. When you see I'm working with, Swedish Bella, Cheyenne, Sarah Sinclair, and a lot of those big OnlyFans girls, they're like, man, this guy obviously works with some of the bigger names, and especially on that side, just because there's a lot of creeps on that side of the photography.
No, there would never be. How dare you say that?
all the guys with cameras. Oh yeah, we'll shoot for free. Come on.
You're bringing up a really good point. So I don't know how much you know about and if you've looked at my YouTube page, but this Friday I'm having Ariel X is coming on my show. Ariel X does Evolve fights. She ran Ultimate Surrender on the adult side, and Ariel X is a big deal. She's been doing this for like 30 years. And the only reason why I have Ariel X is because I've legitimately gone through people like Savannah Fox, Bella Madison, Bella Rockefeller. I have a good relationship with LFC. And then, Stephanie Stolz is like an OG in this space. Jen Thomas helps, who was one of Ariel X's good friends. But like, that's the thing, is that when we look at creeps, when we look at getting into doors, it helps when you actually drop names and you have people associated, because if I just randomly shot Ariel X a message and I had none of the name drops, probably wouldn't get an interview. So,
but that's just how it works. The idea is credibility is that, that's why I'm big. The bottom line is that it shows, one, that I'm busy. You see a lot of new faces, but you will see old faces, some of my bigger names pop up a lot. Why? Well, the new faces shows that I'm busy and other people are booking me. The old faces are showing people that these girls are coming back. So obviously, if they're coming back, they had a good experience the last time, which means now they can trust me. And then also now when I give my price, it's not crazy. Like they're like, oh, well, obviously everybody else is paying it, so I got to pay it. But the idea is, my good example is Swedish Bella out of Arizona. She's got like 2.5 million followers on Instagram. Absolutely gorgeous look. One of my best friends now. But she, when she first hired me, her biggest thing was, she's like, I'm hiring you for your professionalism. She goes, you do great stuff, but I don't have to worry about you trying to sleep with me the whole freaking time. And I know I'm going to get my pictures. And she goes, that's what I'm paying for. I can shoot with other people for free, but I know I'm going to get what I want out of this transaction when I work with you. And, and that's why we're actually good friends now, is because I shoot with her so often. But that's the mentality a lot of these girls have. And these guys just don't, these photographers just don't understand that.
Again, I'm not a photographer. I again, when I'm interviewing somebody, it is business. And it could be, it's fun. Obviously, I mean, it's fun. It's not like we're super serious all the time, but it's, I don't want to sleep with who I'm interviewing. It's like that's not what we're here for. I'm interviewing you because you want media, and then in return, I want content, and everybody understands it, and everybody understands that it's a trade, and that it benefits everybody involved. But again, professionalism is a very complicated word, and I don't know if people fully understand it. I really don't. But I don't want to have that discussion. It's just complicated, because I'm sure you've seen con etiquette. I'm sure you've seen a lot of it more than I have, because I don't shoot cosplay. Like, I'll take a picture of somebody at a convention, but I'll ask them first.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen it at a con where it's not even a top cosplayer. It's just somebody, I'm like, oh man, you got a great cosplay. I love it. You're cosplaying my favorite character that nobody's ever done. And I usually ask, but there's plenty of things where people don't ask. And that's just basic level professionalism, let alone what you do.
That's not even professionalism, man. That's just common sense. And the problem is that we live in a world with social media. These I don't know. Am I allowed to swear on here? Should I ask that?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay, because I swear.
Let me stop you. TV professionalism, HBO professional.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no. I just know that I have, when I start talking about like my little rants, I know that things slip out.
You can curse. There's a few words you can't say, and everybody knows the words they can't say.
Okay. So, anyways, but it goes into common sense, and these little dirtbags, they're so used to being behind the computer screens and things like that, and being able to say whatever they want. They do not know boundaries in any way, shape, or form, and they've not developed any kind of social cues whatsoever, where they would know that this girl is giving you the whole "get away from me, don't touch me," and they think that they're somehow obligated or or automatically allowed to do these things because I follow you and I comment on all your stuff. All of a sudden, we're friends. No, we're not. I've never heard of you. I've never responded to you. I've never talked to you. We're not friends. And I feel like that's a big problem. But I mean, that's kind of goes on. And I just said this the other day because some girl just posted it. Ooh. Am I still there? Okay, there we go.
Oh, yeah. I'm listening.
No, my screen went blank, and I was wondering if I lost the connection. It's that typical guys where they jump into their DMs and they're like, hey, hi, hey, hi, you're gorgeous, blah blah blah, and they just try and never get a response, and then all of a sudden it clicks in their head, it's not going to happen, and then it's like, oh, screw you, you fat slut, and I didn't want to sleep with you anyways, and blah blah blah, you're ugly and you're a whore and you're this or that. And it's like she wasn't 10 minutes ago, and had she answered one of those messages, you would have been all about it. But you finally have come to terms that it's not going to happen. So all of a sudden now, instead of trying to pretend like you didn't get rejected, now you're rejecting them, and now you're in control and you're in power. And oh yeah, I didn't want anything to do with her anyways. And it's a mental thing, man. I swear that these guys are just crazy.
Yeah. People are crazy. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to unpack, but I'm not a psychologist.
Yeah. No, I agree. These are my little rants where, like I said, when I see, like you said, about just etiquette.
But you know, it also, I come from a different world. So I'm a huge fan of indie wrestling, and on the indie scene, you know, all these wrestlers and me have had all these interactions with each other on Twitter, publicly and privately, right? So when I'm at a show and like some wrestler goes, I know who you are. And like, but like they know who their fans are because every week or every month you're in the audience and you're in the front row. They know who you are. So if I shoot, you know, I'm not going to say the wrestlers now in WWE, but when I shoot her a message, she responds to my message because I'm like, oh man, you had a great match the other day. Like, or so like, but like I'm not, and every once in a while I'll get a response. But again, it's not that like I've earned the friendship. But that's also a whole different discussion. You have to earn friendships.
Yeah. I actually, on the wrestling side, I do work with Tiffany Stratton and Maxine Dupree on my fitness side.
I just pulled a very rare Tiffany Stratton card.
Oh yeah.
I pulled the 2 out of 5.
I shot her right when she got her first contract. And we've been friends. We've been cool ever since. But every time I go to Orlando, because that's where they're based, I'll shoot with her and Maxine Dupree.
So I just pulled her Tiffy Time celebration card, number 2 out of 5. So Topps has all these parallels. For those who don't know, this is a total aside, but it's related. And they throw them randomly in because Topps has the license for it. Yeah. So the top card is a 101. Then there's 1 out of 5, and then 2 out of 5. So it's like the third most valuable card in the whole thing, and they're all randomly inserted in there. I'm like, God damn it, this is awesome! So I like her as a wrestler. I like her a lot as a wrestler. And I'm excited to see her and Charlotte go at it.
Well, she's a really cool girl, and she was actually a fitness competitor for a little bit. She's an ex-gymnast, and I used to be a cheerleading coach, so I know her from back then. So like I said, I've been friends with her during her fitness years, so that when she switched over, she already knew me from the fitness side. So,
well, hopefully she'll retweet the card when I post it on Twitter. That's all I want. That's all I want. It's so minimal. The bar is so low. That's all I want, everybody. So but all jokes aside, but no. But I do want to get into your Kickstarter though, because that's what I think is fascinating. So I love cards, and that's why I wanted to do this, because cards are awesome, and sports cards are really hot right now. Non-sports cards are really hot right now, and then all this old stuff is super hot right now, from like 50 years ago, 30 years ago, and there's money involved. And then cosplay is in a weird spot because it ebbs and it flows. But right now, I think it's kind of redefining itself outside of the COVID era still, where it's obviously evolved and it's coming back into cons and some other stuff. But what is this like? Because what prompted you to say, I want to do a card set? Because it's kind of a crazy idea. Like, no offense. Like, it's not like it usually sometimes I'll do a cover, I'll do a book, but a card set, like, it's a little out there.
So I mean, I actually personally, I don't think it was that crazy and out there, and I don't think the idea is that innovative. Though I'm excited about it, I love it. The thing about it is I just don't feel, and I might be wrong, but from the research I've done, I just don't feel like anybody has done it well, and that's where I saw the hole in the market, and that came down to having all the pieces, and the pieces to me are one, good photography. There's a lot of cosplay photographers, but a lot of them aren't really like high end. Like when I shoot, and when you see these cards, I shoot outside. I'll still have 3-4 strobes going. I use lights for everything. I'm not a natural light guy. I love my strobes. I love having my light. I love to have control of the situation where I can darken the background. I can make the subject pop, things like that. And I'm super big on that. Two, having a good team of girls. There's a lot of cosplayers, but to get even 7, I only have 7 on this first set, but even to get 7 quality girls that one all have a good look, have a good attitude, because attitude means a lot, because obviously they're be going to these cons and interacting with these fans. They have to have that right temperament. And then just their own social media following, but I want them to all have different backgrounds. And that's the thing, is so you got obviously cosplay, most people know Faces by Rachie. She does a lot of covers. She's been around, blah blah blah. She does her thing. Steph Sugar, she does some con stuff, but she runs burlesque shows. Maddie she's newer, but girl has a great look, great attitude, and I'm always about giving somebody a chance. And not only does she look good and have the attitude, but like she is just hungry and she's trying to grow and trying to build. And like if I say, hey, I need you here, she's boom done. Like she got her plane ticket booked and she's ready to go. And I don't have to discuss it again, with her. She's good to go. Bella and Cheyenne both have really big OnlyFans followings. They're gorgeous girls. Bella does do fitness as well. So she's got a little bit more, got that little 6-pack popping in and things like that. So she's got a look. Motley Moreau, I'm not sure if you know her. She's big, a travel model. She shoots a lot. Good freaking look, but she's a jaw dropper. Like absolutely just amazing. Great personality. And then Sarah Sinclair is a porn star. She travels a lot. She's, AVNs, all that kind of stuff. And same thing, she's really big personality. But fits in really, really well. So, I mean, like I said, they have 7 girls with such a good look, with similar backgrounds and following on one side, but totally different on the other side. Like go ahead.
Yeah, so let's break this down. So obviously diversity matters. In which that whenever you're doing anything, whether you're writing a comic book, booking a wrestling show, doing a cosplay shoot or book or whatever, is having a bunch of different looks in there, because somebody might not connect with one person or one model, and that's just their taste. It's nothing against the model, but everybody has a taste. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry if the truth hurts everybody. I have a certain taste. I have a certain look that I like. I have a certain girl that I'm interested in. That's just me. But what is that like? Because that's, I think, important. But I think you mentioned something that's even more interesting, is the attitude. Because and there's 2 things that I think are interesting. Because I don't think you want to work with somebody who's an asshole. Because I don't know how you feel, but I have a regular shoot job, and there's some assholes at my company, and I dread working with them. And I don't have to work with them all that often, but it's hard to work with an asshole. It just is. It's painful. It makes the day go slower, and it's brutal. And then the other thing too is that I think if somebody's an asshole, they're going to kill the vibe of fun. And then on top of that, the other thing is that these girls in many ways are your marketing of this entire project. And if they're interacting poorly with people, I don't know how you feel, but I've been in places where I left a store because I didn't like the way I was being spoken to or treated in a customer situation. And I've also left tables at cons and other things because of that too. So I find that fascinating about that attitude because I didn't even think about it until you brought it up.
So anytime I do a group thing, so I'm gonna address that first. So anytime I do anything group, so I do like travel trips to like Thailand, Tulum, things like that. My biggest thing is the experience, and experience starts with having people that can mesh well. The idea is that, like we talked about, it only takes one attitude to poison it. You know, if I got 10 girls in a room and one's being diva, her attitude pisses off two other ones. Now they're gonna be kind of like they're gonna be in the corner talking shit because they're mad. And then now the other girls are like, why are those two girls talking about everybody over there? And like, it's just a snowball effect, man. And it's like, and it gets bad. And it's like, you just ruined it all because you weren't open. I will say, when I did the group shoot of all the girls together, they had a blast. They were trading, information, phone numbers, things like that. They really liked hanging out. We stayed around after we did a whatnot show and probably drank a little too much, and like whatnot was hysterical to watch. I'm telling you, it's probably one of the best ones I've ever seen. But I mean, like, and said, these girls didn't know each other beforehand, so like they were just like having a good old time and playing around and just very, very lively, energetic. And I think that's going to translate really well to the cons. On the comment about the looks, different looks, and that's actually kind of like where Maddie kind of came in. Maddie is my only naturally dark hair with real and because the other girls are all pretty, obviously.
You're not supposed to say that. I thought we agreed.
What?
It's outside. It's a joke.
I didn't say the word. I just said, it was real. So like everybody else, like I said, Sarah's really short. Monica said is more on the fitness side. Motley's very curvy. Cheyenne's very all over the place. Obviously, Faces by Rachie. She's got that pinup look. Steph Sugar, same thing. She's a little curvy with, so like everybody has, a little bit different flavor, which is obviously important because you do want, like I said, you got to attract. And then as you're saying that the whole thing about the branding and then being the marketing for it, that's actually how I'm doing it. The cards actually have the girls' names on it instead of I'm not doing the character names. I'm actually doing the actual girls' names because I'm branding the girls. And the reason being is that that's who I'm selling. I'm selling these girls as is. And the idea is that helps me long term because next year, we're doing Marvel this year. So this is Marvel, all Marvel costumes, whatever. If I decide to switch over to anime for the next season or sci-fi or video games, and say you're a big Marvel fan, but you hate anime. Well, you're like, well, I don't like anime, so I'm not going to buy the cards. But if you already say, man, I love Motley and I love Monica, and I don't give a crap that it's anime, I just want to see more cards with them because they're my favorite people and I like them as models, I'm going to buy the cards still. So now I'm not alienating the customers that I've created, and I'm growing now into a new market with people who might just buy because of anime, find the girls, decide they like the girls, and then carry over when I switch to sci-fi and when I switch to anything else. So
I want to table that because I do want to talk about that in a little bit because obviously this is season 1 or series 1. I'm not exactly sure. I called them series because it's just how I grow up on Tops. There's a series 1, a series 2, there's an updated series, all that fun stuff. But it's the same thing. It's semantics. But I do want to talk about the cards because it's interesting that you're branding the girls and that you're not making it about a comic or DC or Marvel or video games, but it's about, Faces by Rachie or Steph Sugar or Maddie or somebody else. And then you might add somebody else into the mix at some point, and then somebody might, take a season off, or there might be 8 girls the next round or 9, or you might do subsections or subsets. I don't know what you're planning to do, but the point though is that I find that interesting, but I also want to dive into the fact that it also packs. And that's also interesting too, because a pack rep is very different than a whole set of everything. And so that's the other thing that's fascinating too, is that, well, you don't know what you're going to get in the pack. And that's also really interesting it makes this card collecting, right? Because it's that idea where I just ripped open some baseball stuff for my Series 1, and I don't know what I'm going to get in my baseball set. I'm going to get like 10 cards, maybe 11 cards. You might pull an auto, you might pull something else, and obviously you have commons in here, uncommons, which I think are booty shots. You have risque. I like risque where it's not nude, but it's implied, and it's implied pretty well. In a fun way, and then you have full nude or topless. I don't know if you do full.
No, just doing topless.
Which I'm not a fan of full nudity, by the way. Like that blows my mind on comics. Like I don't find it tasteful. I don't. I find it odd. Like full nude comics. I find
my concept on that was going because I agree with the same thing. You know, I feel like going full nude is unnecessary. On top of that we're still doing cosplay. Like I need to have some kind of clothes so you remember who they are. You know, like I gotta, you know, if I take out all the clothes, then you start losing the character, and it's like, okay, but you know, if you just want a nude, we just, you know, go to their OnlyFans or something. You know, like you don't go. You know, that's not part of the card. I want the card to still have the character behind it.
You're bringing up something interesting because there gets a point, and I'll say it's controversial. And then you can plead the fifth at any point. There gets a point where something is no longer cosplay, in which that, and I'm all for nudity. I'm all for nude shoots. That's perfectly fine. But there gets a point where if a girl's completely nude and she just has Pikachu ears on, it's no longer cosplay. If she's dressed as Pikachu and she's topless, there's an argument that it's still as cosplay or it's cosplay-esque or it's in the vein of cosplay. But that's the thing that I think is interesting about it. You not going full nude and then just being topless, because I can get that it's Black Cat being topless, right?
Well, the thing about it is I specifically made sure the costumes, even Maddie. So Maddie does she does Phoenix she's one of her characters is Phoenix. And on the Phoenix character, I actually had them put a zipper on the front because she has one of the ones like the by Phoenix character, or she already had it, and the zipper's in the back. Well, in order to get her topless, then would mean I would have to take off half the costume, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, zipper's in the front. I can go ahead and do topless, but we're still wearing the cosplay. So all the tops, Ms. Marvel, Captain America, all them, I actually made the actual costumes with the zipper always in the front so that we can just zip up, we can zip down, show what we need to show without having to lose half the costume in the process. So I made sure that every costume we picked specifically had zippers in the front so that way we weren't losing the costume itself.
That's so interesting. Again, I would never think of this. This is not my forte. I don't engage like this. I don't think like this. I think in a lot of ways, not like this.
I'm a business marketing guy, so like that's where, you know, the same thing, you know, coming into the, you know, you said was interesting was that their packs, and that's, you know, to me that's the fun of collecting cards is the packs, you know, because that's what ups the rarity. If you could just buy, because I already had people tell me reach out and they're like, can I just buy the whole set? I'm like, no. I'm like, that's 90% of the fun. Like the whole point is to have to collect these cards. The whole point is they're going to be limited. And the whole point is that it's going to be the true collectors that have the full sets. That's why none of the, the epic cards and all that kind of stuff, you will never see a digital version of my epic cards anywhere for that reason, because the idea is that the only way you're going to see that card is if you find it. And there's going to be obviously a small amount of those in the actual run. And if you don't find it, you don't find it, which then, to me, though, ups the value of what those cards are worth. And go ahead.
Let's get into this, because this is where it gets interesting, right? Is that, I mean, again, I love card collecting, but I'm always skeptical, right? I'm skeptical, and I have questions, especially on packs and stuff. Is that, like, obviously it's a limited set, but how limited of a set is it? Because that's what I think where this gets so interesting, right? Because if there's 15,000 packs, then we know that there's 15,000 packs. But if there's 5,000 packs, that's a big difference in that.
So there is 9,600 packs. So they come in. So I got, there's boxes of 20. So each pack has 12. And I think I did the math right now. And I know I'm on line now. So somebody's going to check my math. I'm going to be wrong. But so in my math, and I could be wrong, is that there's 12 cards per pack. There are 24 packs in a box. And I have 500 boxes. So whatever that breaks out to be, that's the end all be all. So that breaks down to, and then we have an equation. I'm not sure if I want to put that out there, but I have the equation of, how many rares, how many epics.
Is it ratioed? So,
yeah.
So I'll give you an example, right? So Topps does this in parallels, where it follows the rules of comics, where if a print run has 468 and there's 89 parallels, it breaks down to that, like, it's like 15 parallels per 100, right? Whatever that ratio comes down to. But if you have a larger print number, the ratio obviously goes that way. So
I don't have off the top of my head, I don't remember what it is, but like each box has 24 packs, and in 24 packs, it will do each box. It's like it's it's like 18 packs have the rare, and then 2 packs have an epic, 1 pack has an epic hologram, something like that, and then it's like 1 in 100 has it was a whole. It was.
I'll ask the question this way, because this is where I think people want to know is that if somebody buys a box, are they going to get a bunch of rares? Are they going to get like a hollow foil? Are they going to get like an epic hollow foil? Because that's where people, I think, really say, cool, it is, I want to get that cool rare shit, right? So if I'm going to go spend $120 or $300 for 2 boxes, am I going to get like 30 rares, right?
You're going to end up getting, because of the ratio,
around that number. I'm not asking you directly, so nobody's going to hold your feet to the fire.
Like if you buy 2 boxes, you're going to get a crap ton of rares, but if you buy 2 full boxes, I would find it hard that you don't get at least an epic or at least an epic hologram in within 2 boxes, because of the way the ratio works, and I'm sure that's the way they package it, is that each box has, like I said, it's each box is under the guise that out of all 24 packs, 18 of them are going to be configured one way, 2 are going to be configured a different way, third one's going to be configured different way. So within 2 boxes, you should at least 2 boxes, you're going to have between that's 50 packs almost. In 50 packs, you're going to get at least something good within that ratio.
Because the reason why I asked this is that Zenescope did their box where you got an autograph, you were going to guarantee a sketch card and a lenticular in the box. And it was a $200 box along with a bunch of packs. And then you were going to get a bunch of other cool shit in your stuff. But it was purposely configured. I just opened up my Series 1. You were guaranteed either a relic from baseball or an autograph card. And so it's configured that you're getting one or the other. And then everything else is fair game. And then I just opened up that's the way Topps does it. That's the way Zenescope did it. And the reason why is that, and that's why I'm curious, because whenever people do card sets, I've seen it done where the whole thing is a random shoot, right? Where you buy a whole box and then some other stuff. So that's why I bring this up is that.
So I think I'm pretty sure because of the way they package it, and I'll double check this because this is actually a really good question. I didn't even think about this, but I'm pretty because of the way that I did the ratios, each box, I feel at least one. I would have to look at least one. I would say probably 50-50 in getting at least an epic or an epic hologram if you had for every box. So if you got 2 boxes, I would find it, especially if you got 2 boxes right next to each other, unless they were all mixed up. I think if you had 2 boxes that I came out of my set next to each other, you're probably looking at least 100% of having a epic in one of those packs, because the way that they ratio the packs, they do it by box, and my configurations were by box. So it was a breakdown of 24 packs, which is obviously 24 packs in a box. And it had this many rares, this many, because it'd be like out of those 20 packs, 18 of them are configured this way, 19 and 20 are going to be configured this way, and then 20 to 24 are going to be configured this way. That being said, then I would feel like an Epic would probably come up. Like I said, I'll double check that, but because of the way that I did the ratios, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So you're going to get at least an Epic or Epic hologram at some point if you're going to buy a box or two.
No, I'm just curious because again, cards are fast.
That's a really good question. And now I'm going to look and make sure the ratios cover that. But maybe that's something to think about. Make sure, like, hey, because the problem is that if I have 500 boxes, that's not really that many, because you got to think there's 14 costumes. So that means, and there's 14, and then there's an Epic, there's a hologram and an Epic hologram. So that means there's actually 28 cards. To do 28 cards divided by I'm going to do math on this. If I did
times 12.
Yeah, so if I did 500 divided by 28. Oh, that's only
this is what I have to think of.
That would only be 18. That would only be 18 of each. Yeah, so that would be only 18 of each. So that means with that configuration of making sure that every box had an Epic or an Epic hologram, that means there would only be 18 of each of those cards in that 9,600 packs or 500 packs or 500 boxes, which isn't. I don't feel like that's a lot enough to devalue them at all. So I think that I'll double check that, but maybe I'll just double check to make sure that it happens. But I think that's fair to make sure there's an Epic or an Epic hologram in every box.
No, because again, that's where I think this also gets interesting too on a marketing level. Because I feel very comfortable with the Topps box where you get a guaranteed a relic, which is a piece of a jersey, a hat, or an autograph, and you're guaranteed one or the other. So when you're buying a $90 box, you know you're getting something that's somewhat decent that's worth at least $8 to $12 minimally.
Yeah.
So I feel that like that it makes me feel better as a customer. You know, that like
I never thought about it like that, and I'm glad you brought it up because that is super. Like I said, I don't feel it's unreasonable by any means, because you like you said, from a marketing standpoint, you know that you want to feel you're getting value for your money, and the value is like, well, if I just buy like 5 packs, if I get nothing, I get nothing. That's my own fault. But if I buy a box that I know I'm gonna at least get one of them, even if it's not the one that I want, I'm getting one, and maybe I can trade for it, or maybe I can, do something with it. But it's at least gonna give me value enough where now I have collateral to find something, or trade it for something, or sell it for something else that I want. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I like that. I think I'm gonna actually, when I get off of this, I'm gonna actually reach out to my printer and make sure that that's the case. Because as I said, they're still making the dies for them right now. So I can alter the configuration of the packaging still.
No. I find this fascinating.
This entire interview was worth it for that idea, because that's a really good idea. I'm telling you right now.
No. I'm a card advocate. I love talking about cards, and I've broken down card sets. I value card sets. Topps wasn't thrilled when I told them half their products last year sucked, and I did so you've seen the videos where people rank things, right? From like everything from food to presidents to cars. I did that with Topps products. And like I legitimately gave all these products like a C-, and I'm like, I love the product, but this was useless for everybody else. And like I could tell Topps was not happy when they saw it. Where like I sent it to somebody at Topps. He's like, yeah, I saw your video, man. He wasn't thrilled with me. But like I'm an advocate where I'm going to tell people what I think about, especially about cards.
But here's the deal. I'm really big on constructive criticism. I do not shy away from it whatsoever. Anybody who's ever met me will tell you, I don't care what business it is. The way I always look at things is, if I'm not a millionaire, I can be doing things better. And that's the thing. So I haven't found the key to the recipe until I'm making $1 million off of it. So that means anytime that somebody has advice like what you just gave me, I look back and I have to think about it and evaluate in my mind, be like, are they right? And like in this case, it's like, man, that's a really good point. Like that definitely, that's a marketing strategy. It actually falls into point. It makes absolute sense. I'm gonna take that idea and I'm gonna go ahead and use it now because I was given it. But like, I've gotten bad criticism before, and I'm like, no, that's not how it works. But nice try there, but
no. Plenty of people have given me really good advice, and plenty of people have given me horrible advice. Somebody changed. I bought a book for $10, and the book legitimately made me probably $30,000 for a $10 book. That's an unbelievable trade, and it will probably make me a lot more money. It taught me about dividend reinvestments.
Yeah.
It changed the perspective completely, changed my entire philosophy on life. And then somebody further expand an idea for me, and they gave me really good feedback, and it was a great idea. But then somebody said, "Oh, Andrew, you should change your background. I don't like the cheetah in your background." I'm like, "You don't like the fucking picture? I'm not gonna watch your show because you have a cheetah in your office. Like, that's not helping."
No, you said you got to evaluate it. Each person their own. You got to evaluate. My concept is it going to make me more money, and does it make sense? I used to be I was vice president of a software company for a long time, and literally my entire job was I was the idea guy. I couldn't tell you how to code anything, but if the developers came up and go, hey, we're going to add this new feature, and I'm like, oh, does it do this? Well, no. Well, does it do this? Well, no. And I'm like, well, then it won't work. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because you're thinking one way. And I'm like, this is in a real world scenario, it has to be able to do this, 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 and this. And if it can't do all those things, it's absolutely useless, because if it's not useful to 80% of our clients, then we're just wasting time and money. And they're like, oh. And then I'll be like, what you need to do is, and I draw them little pictures, and I'll be like, I need a button here, and I needed to bring you over here, and I need to do this. Go figure it out. And they would, and that's 100% my job. It was just an idea guy. I told them where the buttons belong, what I needed the buttons to do, and it was their job to figure out how to make that happen. And I couldn't tell you how they did it, but they did it, and we made more money, and my bosses were always happy with me. So I'm all about that.
No, my job. I work in digital accessibility, and my job is to point out the problem with digital accessibility, and it's somebody else's job to fix it.
Exactly.
And
you do what you're good at.
I'm just gonna say this, and if anybody's ever done it, if you want to go to hell, everybody, remediate and make a PDF accessible by hand and without any checkers. It is hell. It is hell. It is the definition of hell. That there are 9 levels, and that is pretty close to level 8. It's pretty close to it. So if you ever want to challenge PDF remediation without any accessibility checkers, doing it with raw, and I've done it. It is hell, and it's not fun. And don't do it, guys. So I'm glad I don't have to do it. But that's how I feel. So I understand about ideas, but I do want to talk about the Kickstarter a little bit, because I am curious what your experience has been like on Kickstarter. Because obviously the rewards. Before I ask, I'm just going to go through the rewards. You get 2 starter packs if you just want to try it. You can get, I think, a miniature box, which is 60. I think you get.
I think it's a mini box of 6.
Yeah, I think the price is $60, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then you get a big box. You get double big boxes. I think you get a big box with a mini box, or 2 boxes with a mini. I'm not exactly sure. Then there's like a book, limited book in there. And then there's just some other stuff too. I think because there's only like 5 or 6 rewards, right?
Yeah, because like I said, obviously with cards, it's really just about you're gonna buy more, And then to me, it's one of those things where I made as many levels as I could, but you can add on. So like one guy, he bought because I didn't realize you had to do that on Kickstarter, was you can't buy the same reward more than once. So you can't buy reward 2 twice. And he's like, well, I want to buy 2 more mini boxes. And I was like, so I had to make them add-ons. So he can buy the reward 2, and then he can add on 2 more mini boxes, and then he can get what he wanted. And then like I said, as I grew, got bigger, I just kind of I started adding in there. I know there's a custom card holder that I'll have the eye candy X3 with, you know, some of the girls on the cover itself. And then I'm going to do a photo book with some of the unused rare, the risque, as you put it, some of the risque shots that we didn't use for the cards. I'm going to put those in the book, so that way it's a little extra. Basically, I'm printing it just like a comic. So it's basically like a photo book, but it'll be printed just like a comic, you know, an 8x10. And like I said, it'll just have one more shot of every girl and every one of their costumes with one of their unused shots, and then kind of like a team cover on that. So, and then I think there was I'm trying to think. I did offer I was going to add like a booty shot if we got to 10,000. I think we were only at 8 right now. So we got a couple more. I think it ends like a couple or like 2.5 weeks. We have 2.5 weeks. If we hit 10,000, I was going to add it. So our current print was going to be 154, and I was going to add another 14 booty cards in there for uncommon if we hit 10,000. And then if we were to hit rare, I was going to do a limited edition card for only the Kickstarter investors, and only anybody who paid $250 or more. You guys, that's something I just been kind of learning about, is the one-of-one cards and like the foils and all that kind of stuff. So I'm starting to do some of those, but I was actually going to make a set of those just for those people. And right now, I think the Kickstarter's at like 42 backers, but we're at $8,000. But I figured, you know, even if we double that, I'm only really making 40 to 50 of those cards. So those would be the only 50 of those cards in existence, just for that and that only. In the nice, you know, in the nice case, you know, the big plastic case with the label on top, all that, all the bells and whistles. So we'll see.
I have cards like that. I have one-on-ones like that. I have some expensive stuff. I have a problem. Hey! When you have these Reese rookie cards that are one-on-ones, I mean, that shit fucking flies out quick.
The what cards?
Tomorrow, 3:00. I'm not telling everyone I'm buying. I'm not interested in telling everyone I'm buying, because if I get it, I'm keeping it, or I might sell it to somebody who it's his one-on-one that he might have done something last Sunday, but we don't have to talk about who it is. All I can say is he does a lot of this.
Yeah.
If you don't know who it is, I mean, I can't help you, everybody. If you don't know what I just did, yeah, I mean, this is like sports analogy 101, but it's going to be a fight for that card. It's going to be worth every single penny, and if I don't get that one, maybe I'll just have to figure out how to get myself a Kia. Another sports reference. Yeah. I'm just saying, guys. If everybody can do something like this, I mean, if you could do that, everybody, I'm just saying that's what the slam dunk contest was on Saturday. Guy had jumped over a Kia and dunked it in. And yes, he won the contest. I want to make that crystal clear. But the real winner is Kia, because it made me want to go buy a Kia.
I don't think anything would ever make me want to buy a Kia.
If you see that dunk, it will.
if the car dunked, then I'd be like, okay, maybe, but not just because he made it over a Kia. I'm just not a fan.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It was really cool, because he's like, they're backing out the car and he's like, a little bit more. It was really funny. The whole scenario of it was really, really funny for so many reasons. And half of them are the right reason, and half of them are the wrong reasons. And the wrong reasons, it's not even offensive. It was just ridiculous, the whole concept. But I digress. But I do want to talk about your Kickstarter even further, because obviously Kickstarter is a unique breed. And so what is even that like for you? Because I don't want to say it's a foreign concept anymore, but you're kickstarting something and you don't know if your idea is a good one until people actually put money behind it. And if you're at $8,000, I'm not saying it's $1 million, but that's not also to some degree it's a vote of confidence because
Yeah.
$8,000 is a lot of money.
So my thing on the whole thing was I'm gonna tell you right now, I was super nervous. I've never done a Kickstarter before in any way, shape, or form. I've had a lot of people that, when I told the idea, especially in the cosplay world, were like, "Oh my God, it's the greatest idea ever," and blah blah blah. They got excited. So I'm like, I knew I had something, and I did feel a little better because I didn't know. Obviously, a lot of the girls have really good followings, and I'm like, well, even if it's just their followers that kind of get into it, I don't think I'm gonna lose money. And that's what I'm just really big on. As long as I don't lose money, I don't mind breaking even and being like, damn it, it was an idea. And like I said, my initial goal was I think I only put on at 3,500. So as long as I hit 3,500, I knew it wasn't going to be that covered.
So let me talk about that though, because Kickstarter has evolved into a weird place where now it's not anymore about kickstarting something. This almost seems like you're trying to kickstart your idea, right? Which is the essence of Kickstarter. So that's where this is. I find it interesting, right? Is that when you're trying to kickstart something, that's what this seems like. I think that's good because again, you need to print the cards, you need to package the cards, and it's not like because you said it that you're not trying to lose money and all the money's going into the project. Like that's where Kickstarter has become really interesting because some people can't do this without Kickstarter. And there's people who say I'm using Kickstarter as a marketing tool and that I could fund this myself completely because I know people can do it. But they say I'd rather put it on Kickstarter and use it as a distribution method because I'm not trying to like say both are right, by the way. There's no wrong or right answer, but I view this almost more marketing and almost saying, let's test an idea and then figure out a way how to distribute it and go more of an indie route with it. Because
so it's a little bit of, not going to lie, it's a little bit of everything. Could I have funded it 100% by myself? Yes. But, for, when you have an opportunity like Kickstarter, what that does is that buys me, the initial investment of before I go and commit and actually, send my money to, my printer. Am I going to get sales? Like if I would have flopped and I would have got like $500, I would have been like, okay, dodge the bullet here. Like I would have taken the loss on the shoots and working with the girls, and I would have found ways to use those images for something else, to kind of recoup my money. But depending on how it did, I still had time. I still had time to pull out, and I think that's what the Kickstarter does now because it did so well. To me, then it turns almost into pre-sales, which is like, okay, now I got enough where I got going, and now that I'm at that, and it's it's gone so well. The thing about it is that I feel it's like just like any kind of thing that you're selling is that it's a snowball effect. Obviously, my grasp into the cosplay world isn't huge outside of like Raichi and stuff and all that, their girls. So I have their marketing, and their marketing really only. The average cosplay user doesn't even know who I am and has never heard of me. But when we start going to the cons and they start meeting the girls and all that kind of stuff, I feel that's going to also then kick up a lot of the, oh my God, here's this. And then when they're starting to tag the girls and tag the card and tag that, and as well as the guys who get this, these first sets, all of them going home and like obviously most collectors, like you think they're gonna be on their channels opening packs live and trying to see what they got and this and that. And that's going to be another marketing, set in its own right. So, the fact that it's at 8 makes me feel like, what, it's a good idea. It's solid. And, I'm on the right track. It's just going to take a little bit longer to get to the numbers I want. But, again, it's just, I'm a long-term thinker. So just like we talked about, like branding the girls for long-term and more series and this and that, as long as I, hit my mark for this year, there will definitely be a series 2. And I think, it has the potential to be, even pulling off 2 series in a year and saying, hey, first half of the year and then second half of the year, we'll switch it up because, the girls are all into it. And, I think you brought it up earlier about adding girls. I have every intention of adding girls. I have 7 right now. and they all did 2 costumes. So even if I kept the set the same size, I can add another 7 girls and then just do 1 costume a piece. So instead of having 7 and 2, I'd be having 14 and 1. That would allow me to, have a little bit more diversity on who goes to what cons. Because obviously sometimes it doesn't fall into everybody's schedule, and things like that. But I think building a bigger team and building the right team has it. But Kickstarter's been great. Like I said, I was super nervous, but like even in that first, I think the first 24 hours, I think we broke the 3,500 mark. And when that happened, I was like, okay, it's not bad. The only mistake I made, I think, was putting the 60-day limit on it. I didn't realize people usually don't do it for 60 days. I was told by a lot of the comic people, like, oh, why didn't you just do 30 days? I'm like, because I never did this before. Like, I was scared that 60 days wasn't going to be long enough. Like I said.
That's interesting. See, I think everybody's wrong on that. And I ran a Kickstarter, and I wish I did mine for 60 days. Because first off, I mean, I have a theory on this. Maybe my theory is wrong, but I like having more time. My whole concept in life is to delay bills or delay payments for as long as I possibly can do it. Not because I don't have the money, but because I want to hold on to my money for as long as I can possibly hold on to it. So if I can purchase something today and not pay for it till the end of March, that gives me a lot more flexibility and it reduces stress. Doesn't mean I don't have to be responsible. Doesn't mean I don't have to put the money into a safe place. It just means that, let's say my car breaks down, I now have a little bit more of a cushion, right? So if you have 60 days and you're running a Kickstarter for the first time, you can adjust your Kickstarter appropriately in those 60 days so that if you fuck up in your first week, so I actually think that you doing 60 days made more sense.
Well, like I said, what it did was it bought me a month to see where I was after a month. And, I said, I've already put in the stuff into print. So I've already put my money towards the print. The only thing I didn't like about the 60 days, and it's only happened twice, is that I did have 2 decent sized donors cancel their orders, after the first month. And I'm not sure what it was. But like I said, I've actually replaced, I ended up, replacing them with, within days. I got that money back. So I'm not losing money by any means, but it just sucks because it's like, man, like, did I give them too much buying time and get buyer's remorse?
It's not even that. It's not even that. People move around. Things happen. I backed out of projects. I've heard things happen in life. People have issues, problems occur. A lot of shit can go wrong, right? In whatever, and all of a sudden you thought you had money. I sell on eBay. It happens all the time on eBay with me. Is that somebody buys something, then within 3 minutes they say, "Oh my God, something came up," and depending on what it is, right? Depending on what it is, I've had somebody say, "Oh my God, dude, like I just didn't have the money I thought I did." And I'm like, "Dude, don't worry about it, right? Shit happens." But if somebody's also been bidding on something extensively and there was a bidding war and then they pull that, that's also different. But that's neither here nor there. But things happen on Kickstarter. I pulled out a project because something came up, or you hear things sometimes from creators and things.
No, and I said so. I mean, it hasn't been bad. Like I said, I'm in a good spot. Like I said, I have enough. I'm covering the printing and things like that. Like I said, I'm just sitting on, the only thing about it is like I started printing before obviously the Kickstarter is even over. I know that I have enough to cover all that. I'm not worried about it. So I'm like, why am I going to delay the production of it? Because I also don't want a lot of those early cons. So like I want that product in hand now. So let's go ahead and print those bad boys up and get them here.
That's interesting too. In which that's actually a half common practice now in the space, but it is what it is. I like when I get my cards early, so I have no complaints. So and then obviously I think you spoke about everything else you want to do, and obviously doing potential more series depending on how they sell, how they do at conventions. Because a con, you might do better at conventions than you might do on your Kickstarter.
I think it's one of those things where from a marketing standpoint, same concept, which is you might pass me, you might see it pop up on your Facebook or whatever it may be, Instagram, and like be like, okay. But when you're if you're going through a con and you see like 4 of my girls like in outfits ready to go, you're gonna look, and then you're gonna be like, what is that? And oh my god, it's cards. Ooh, what kind of cards? Oh, like it has enough wow value where
You're also missing something major. You have a table at a convention. You got Raichi there. Somebody opens up their pack and they pull a Raichi. All of a sudden, Raichi could be signing, and there you go.
yeah.
And that also changes it too, is that if all of a sudden I could break a pack open and then I open up 6 packs, right? You know, and then all of a sudden you have 2 or 3 of the girls who cosplayed in there, and they're like, "Yo, you want me to sign your card?" That also changes the nature too, because people like signed cards, people like signed items in their collections. I love autographs, right? To me, that's where collecting gets even more interesting, is that now all of a sudden I have an autograph of somebody on, and then let's say somebody pulls an epic hollow foil, right? And then the person they pull is legitly there as soon as they opened it. I mean, that's also a game changer in a lot of ways too at conventions, because it changes the nature of collecting and value and all sorts of cool stuff that can go with it. So that's the other thing
and
too.
that's the plan. Like, they're going to be at the booths, obviously selling autographs and pictures the whole weekend as well. But like, it's one of those things where it's I'm pretty sure Raichi does this stuff at majority of her booths, is that like picture free with with purchase and stuff like that. And so like concept is, hey, if you buy a box and you get blah blah blah, I'll get you can get 2 autographs, whether that be on a print or on a card itself. That's fine, because even if it's a rare card, if it's a rare card, you buy a box. You know what? 2 of the girls, whatever 2 rare cards you get, if the girls are right here, they'll sign them right off there, right for you. Or you say, hey, oh, this girl isn't here. You know what? Why don't you just sign the uncommon card, because I actually like it, and you're standing right there. So no, I agree. I think that helps it a lot. And I said, but I also think too, like that's again something where you're building relationships with these girls, which is when the fans are coming and they're meeting them and taking pictures with them, and like I said, they really do all have good personalities. They're very energetic. They're very they pull you in. And I feel for the average con goer, when they meet these girls and talk to them and things like that, it's gonna entice them to be like, man, I really want to get that Cheyenne card. I really want to get that Raichi card. You know what? Give me 2 more packs. Give me 2 more packs. Give me 2 more packs. And I feel like, and again, like that's why I did the pack thing in the first place. It's that kind of like gambling vibe where what, I don't want to spend $300, but if I spend $20 and I pull a great card, that's a good day. Oh crap, I didn't get anything, but like, what, I'm feeling it. Let me go spend another $20, and and you kind of get that that rolling. That's just the way people think, and that's where that's why I did the packs.
Yeah, there's so many I could say, but again, I like cards. I pull a lot of cards. Pull a lot. Oh my god, I have a problem. I'm probably in the next 10 years going to be spending anywhere from 5 to 10 million on cards, which is ludicrous. It's insane. I sell a lot of cards too. I'm cracking open a Michaela Blake card after this. So the autograph Michaela Blake limited to 49 or less. It's a sick card. They're expensive. The 49s are going for like 350 on eBay, clean all day. The 101 hasn't surfaced, and no one tops. I probably have the 101. So but no, I don't have the 101. I know that I'm not that lucky, but I definitely get it. I need to figure out my finances before I fully commit, because there's money in this. There's money in this. I can tell you that. I've done the base cost on 2 boxes, by the way, per card. What it runs. It is, I think, 68 cents a card if you buy 2 boxes. It is the base cost if you were to sell the whole thing.
Okay.
Per card. For me purchasing it.
Yeah.
So if I was to rip it open and say I'm going to sell everything here, I need to sell everything 68 cents plus 69 cents plus 13% is what it would cost me on eBay to sell, which is not a lot.
Yeah.
It's about $1.80 a card. So
No,
I've done the math on this.
I think I was very fair on the pricing. I think I was very fair on, like I said, the ratios and stuff like that. You want to be able, like you said, you want to make sure everybody feels like they're getting value. At the same time, you want to make sure that there is value in it. And the only way you get value is rarity. So, you don't want to be making, I'm not going to say, hey, for every six packs you get, you're going to get you'll be getting an epic or something like that. Because that's no fun. And like I said, and I might visit the ratios next week or next season. And I also might revisit the amount. Like I said, I'm only doing 500 boxes. I felt that was a solid amount. I feel like that puts a solid amount out there. But I will say, if at some point, say some of the, I do like 2-3 cons and they start doing well, I might go right into just.
Do you feel that because I have no problem saying this, Zenoscope I think made a mistake, right? So they do something called the Zen box, and they went from 100 to 150, and I think they made a mistake by adding another 50. So they went to 200, then they brought it back down to like I think 150. But I think they made a mistake because when you add another 100 boxes in or another 50 boxes in, and then you have numbered exclusives in there, limited to 150 or 200, you just added double the marketing there, which decreases value.
Yeah.
So that's where this gets tricky versus going and saying, we're just going to speed up. We're going to have 3 sets this year, or figuring out the exact how many you bring in. So if you're doing 500 boxes and then you go to 1,000 and they're doing well, I mean, all of a sudden that changes the value perspective. But if you add another 100 in there, it's the value, and it hurts a little bit, but not significant enough that
I feel like it's kind of like we're just coming up with the ratio from the get-go, is that it's finding that balancing act, which is, like I said, to me it comes down to how fast they're selling out. If they're selling out fast, okay, maybe like you said, add 100 boxes, but that's it. Like don't go from 500 to 1,000. That's because that's going to dilute the thing, and now you're losing the rarity, which then you're going to lose your big collectors, and your big collectors are the ones you're spending the most money. So that by alienating them, you're kicking yourself in the nuts. So like you want to maximize your value on what you're putting out there for a set, but like you said, you don't want to devalue the rarity. And like I said, to me, then the solution after that is, okay, next one we'll do 600 boxes for Series 2 instead of 500 boxes, but let's start planning Season 3 to run 6 months afterwards, so that as this is getting to the to the sellout mark, we're already ready to go with the next group, and we can know what.
And then in Series 4 you do a buyback.
Well, what's a buyback? I don't know what that is.
So what Topps does is that they buy back cards, and then they harbor them for like 3 to 4 years, and then they put them into packs. So if all of a sudden what you did is that, let's say there is a bunch of rare cards, right? And let's say you have 100 rare cards laying around that for whatever reason just didn't sell, or you harbor them, right? In Series 4, you bring back Series 1's rare cards that are inserted into random packages. So now it gives an incentive, because those cards have appreciated in value, that are now inserts. So now you're getting really into the game.
Well, I don't want to say this, but my plan was to, off this initial set, was I was going to take a chunk of the boxes and store them away for that reason, for where unopened, untouched. So like, to me, it's one of those things. If there's like, if we did the math and they're saying, hey, there's 17 epics of everybody, or 17 epic holograms of everybody, times how many, like say there's supposed to be 150 hollows, but only, like you said, 135 have surface. Well, that means in those 20 boxes that I got over here that are untouched and unopened, that means there has to be at least either all of those epics are in there, or at least some of them are in there. So now, to me, coming back at Season 3, I'm a long-term thinker. So I know I was already planning on hiding a couple of those boxes away and had no intention of selling those. And again, I don't know what it's not like a dick thing either, where I don't know what's in there. I don't know which ones I'm saving and I don't know which ones I'm getting. I just know that I want 30 boxes that are untouched, unused, and in 3-4 years, if this company's going well and things are going well, I can say, hey, I got a fresh uncut box. Who wants it? And again, there's 24 epics that have not been found. It could, the all within these boxes could have been all 24. There might be only 29, or maybe there's only 19 of them, and somebody just hasn't opened their pack, or somebody threw it away, or somebody, we don't know what happened to those. But
Or
no,
somebody just shut up and smile. I pulled stuff that people are like, where did the card surface? And I'm like, I'm not telling anybody that I have this. What, are you kidding me? Like, I don't want anybody to know. There's stuff that I don't want people to know that I have for good
yeah,
reasons.
no, the only thing I gotta calculate the number is that and I'm not sure if I'll do this every season, but for season 1, I know what I'm doing is I'm doing the card run normal, and then I'm having them do a straight set run, so that every girl can have, and it'll be plaqued. Every girl can have one of each of their cards in a plaque for themselves. So those, and that's the thing is that in 5 years, if they want to sell those, and whatever, that's theirs to do what they want. But it'll only be one. Like, so Cheyenne will have a plaque of both of her characters, all of her commons, all of her uncommons, all of her rares, and all of her epics, all in a nice plaqued thing. And just so that'll throw the numbers off a little bit. But honestly, I to me, that's one of those things where I think it's just like having, to me, when you do comic books, you have the artist production, or the artist proof, and the author's proof, or whatever it may be, or the model proof. I just think that falls under that, which is, I think the girls deserve to have their own cards.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to run your business. I don't tell people how to do that. Again. I mean, I'm figuring out where I'm going to fall in on this Kickstarter. It all depends on what my economic situation looks like in the next 10 days. This tax season is kicking my ass right now. It's not fun. It's not fun.
Let's hope for these rebates people are supposedly talking about on Twitter.
Hey, I'll take 5,000. I'll take 5,000 all day. I don't think. I mean, anybody's not going to take $5,000 from the government. I mean, I have my own opinions on it, and I don't want to get too political here, but if the government's going to give me $5,000, I think I could do with $5,000 better than what the government can do for me. I really think that I can manage me better than the government can manage me.
Oh, for sure. No, I agree, man. But like I said, yeah. But as for the cards, though, man, like I said, I'm super excited. I think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's like I said, I feel like it has so much room for expansion. Like I said, I've already kind of started dabbling into some covers. Like I said, we did some Power Out covers. Motley, I have a awesome, phenomenal. I have Motley Moreau in a body paint Green Lantern outfit, and not, she's absolutely phenomenal. But like, we're gonna do a foil. We're gonna do a foil 1-of-1 set with like 5 different variations, and we're gonna try that out. I want to see kind of where that kind of goes on that one, but we'll see. Like I said, there's so much. I just feel like there is a lot of open space in cosplay, and I just feel like with the right girls and the right, like I said, the right business behind it, I think it can do really well. Like I said, we talked about at the beginning, was I just feel like in the past they haven't had all the pieces, whether it be the business marketing side, the right team of girls, the right photographer, or just the the right idea. I feel like I was able to pull all that together, and I'm just lucky because I have access to obviously a ton of girls from different markets, things like that, for my photography, for my main photography and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's something that the average cosplayer didn't have. They can't call up Sweetest Bella and say, hey, you want to be on a cosplay card, and that's where I think I'm lucky.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. We have to use every single one of our skills, and everything that is presented earned, stolen, lucky, gifted, whatever it comes out to, however you want to define it. You got to use everything because, well, life isn't fair, and we all have advantages and disadvantages, and things happen in life. But shit happens in life, right? So, but I digress. Obviously, you've been speaking for an hour and 15 minutes, give or take. And I do give you a chance to promote yourself. You obviously have the link to the Kickstarter in the description, but you can still tell people where to find it. So where can people find the Kickstarter? Where can people find you on Instagram? Where can people find all the social media?
Yeah. So I mean, mainly is Instagram. As much as I don't like Instagram most of the time, obviously the eye candy X3. That I'm using that name across the board. I think we did start a Twitter. I haven't really used Twitter. But you know what? No, we do have a Twitter. Yeah. So we have the eye candy X3 because actually because Sarah and a couple of the OnlyFans girls are obviously they got good sized Twitter followings, so they have us on there to reshare us. And then, like I said, I am going to have a website up soon. So, because I'm going to have to be able to obviously direct buy the cards. If you can't find us at the cons, you'll be able to direct buy after the Kickstarter ends. You'll be able to still can purchase stuff there. You just won't have obviously the bonuses from the Kickstarter. So, I mean, anybody who's interested in doing it during the Kickstarter now is the best, only because you're going to get the best value. Plus, you're going to get all the little perks and all those anything that's a perk won't be available after the Kickstarter. Obviously, that's what makes the Kickstarter special, and that to me is makes it enticing to buy the Kickstarter or to pay for the Kickstarter. But yeah, so no, Instagram is really where it's at. You'll see a lot of the reels. You obviously can find all the girls. You can follow them on social media as well. But like I said, they'll have the website up. Like I said, you'll be able to find the comic book covers as well as anything we kind of expand to. But the Eye Candy X3 is going to be, basically the brand name across the board.
And then I've been saying it for a while is that if you like projects, you got to back people on Kickstarter. Buying things on Kickstarter is good. Supports businesses. It's also a distribution method. And if you like what you see, you're into cards, you're into cosplay, you want to try it. Obviously, there's a $25 level, and I think you go all the way up to whatever price you can go up to, I guess, as far as you want to go, and as many cards as you want to buy.
Because personally too, like I'm gonna say, like if there wasn't for Kickstarter, I probably, obviously, even if I started doing pre-sales, I don't think that's the same, that's really the same kind of vibe as Kickstarter. But I probably wouldn't have even gone to 500 boxes. I probably would have lowered that to like 300, with a little bit more, scared of not trying to lose too much money if it flops. But like I said, so far the Kickstarter has given me a pretty thing of confidence that we'll be good.
So, but obviously there you go right there. It's in the description down below. And then as far as I'm concerned on everything that I'm doing, I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter/X, Pop Anime Comics on the Instagram, Pop Anime Comics on Facebook. Come check out my page, do all that stuff. Also Pop Anime Comics on YouTube. Please subscribe. I got like 1,800 videos. Most of it is interview work, micro content. A lot of cool people have been on the show. This Friday, Ariel X is coming on. As far as I'm concerned, hopefully she's going to show up. You never know in life. I think she will. I'm crossed. I'm legitimately going to run from my job down to the basement. It's going to be a horrible commute. Like 60 yards, guys. It's terrible. Patrick Mahomes can do it. I don't see why I can't. But then all jokes aside, please go check that out. I am Pop Anime Comics on TikTok, and then I do run an eBay store called Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. Look for comics and collectibles. Come shop with us. And I carry a lot of comics like this in my store. I carry stuff like this in my store. I have some Casey Kaiichi books in my store. I also may have a Freddy Cooper and Jason book that's Super Steph and Rachel on it. So that was the Halloween one by Tom and Khalid that they did. So I may have that's going to be listed in a few days up there. I got Born of Blood that she was on, and some other stuff. And then so I got stuff like that, and then I carry cards like this in my store. But people are telling me they can't see it. They can't see it. It's very upsetting. It's very upsetting. And then I also carry cards like this, which feature faces from games in the card. And then speaking about 101, this is a 101 release. and I carry stuff like that in my store too. So yeah, some rare stuff that needs to weigh 10 of 10. So I carry a lot of cool stuff in my store, and if I don't have it listed, ask. There's a good chance I may have it, and if I don't, I know somebody who does. And I'm more than happy to put you and point you in the right direction. So that's everything that I got going on, and I'm going to give you the final word.
No, and hey, I just appreciate you having me on here and things like that. Like I said, good discussion. Like I said, that one idea alone that that we had earlier, that made my whole hour worth it. Like we could have turned it off right then and be like, worth it, very good. Like yeah, it's a good plan and it's something I absolutely am going to talk to my printer as soon as we get off and make sure that that's the case because I think overall from a marketing. I'm going to push the fact that that's the actual fact. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And I appreciate that one idea. That was good.
Anytime. That's what I'm here for. Usually I get 1 or 2 good ideas a year. And well, I have 10 months.
Well, you wasted it early. It's only February, man. It's like you got a long time to think of the next one. So you're good.
Well, I don't think we could have ended any better, everybody. And that is a